Dessie for Her Majesty's Opposition.
Thank you very much, Mr Holloway, and it is a pleasure to serve once again under your chairmanship. I know that for many honourable members who have spoken today, the reopening of the Leamside line has been a long and hard-fought campaign. So I wish to thank my honourable friend, the member for Washington and Sunderland West, for bringing this issue forward for debate, which, as she mentioned, is very timely. And I want to congratulate her also on a very powerful and eloquent speech. Just last week, Mr Holborn, Transport for the North East, alongside many honourable members, hosted a stakeholder event to continue the push for the line's reopening, continuing to make the case for this integral 21-mile line to run from Gateshead through South Tyneside, Sunderland and County Durham, which has, of course, remained closed since 1992. Looking around today and hearing the strength of cross-party support for this line is indeed heartening. I must commend the tireless campaigning of members from across the political spectrum, and I know that many honourable members could not attend today's debate owing to events in the chamber, in the main chamber. But the petitions, debates, parliamentary questions, local campaigning, cross-party working, this is exactly what our parliament should be, working together to deliver transformational projects for our constituents. Indeed, this project has not only seen widespread support across the areas which would have a Leamside line station in their constituency, but across the North East. Local authorities, businesses, Jamie Driscoll, Mayor of the North of Tyne, the Local Enterprise Partnership, the North East Chamber of Commerce, all seem to appreciate the benefits of increasing capacity on the East Coast Main Line through the reopening of Leamside. And there is increasing public support. All of this is hardly surprising when you consider, Mr Holloway, as other members have highlighted today, that every local journey taken contributes £8.50 to the North East economy. Yet, as we've heard from multiple colleagues today, rail connectivity is about so much more than this. It's connecting a talented student to their chosen college, reducing the emissions of a visit to friends and family, widening job opportunities for local people, making local travel more affordable, more accessible and more appealing, helping to improve union connectivity between England and Scotland, and reducing congestion and pollution on the roads. And already the foundations have been laid. On the line's route already there are businesses and manufacturing parks. Nissan's factory, as was highlighted by my honourable friend from Washington and Sunderland West, new housing and regeneration projects. The project has been heavily included in the North East Transport Plan adopted just last year, and would deliver a station for Washington, which, as my honourable friend will know all too well, is the fourth largest town in England without a station, and that is something which needs to be corrected at the earliest possible opportunity, and it's desperately needed. If we want to grow the economies of the North East, we must build the necessary infrastructure capacity to sustain that. And prior to the pandemic, Network Rail themselves noted that demand on the East Coast Main Line would also increase significantly by 2040. And as North East authorities have even continued to protect the Leamside alignment from development and under the ownership of Network Rail, everything is set. Yet time on this project lamentably rolls on, as was highlighted by my honourable friend, the member for North Durham, that given the huge support from all quarters, why is the government dragging its feet? We need honesty from the government. So given the strength and support and the planning, I join honourable members here today with their disappointment at the lack of progress. Despite the best efforts from themselves and local leaders, particularly given the tenacious and dogged campaigning emanating from the region. I know that many expected to see the Leamside line feature in the recent integrated rail plan, yet it never came. The Minister herself is very well versed, as her our predecessors, on my views on this shambolic document, the disintegrated rail plan as many of us know it, but for the people of the North East in particular, it fails them. A double blow of scrapping the HS2 Eastern Leg and the Northern Powerhouse Rail. and as highlighted by Transport for the North East, based on, and I quote, short-term cost savings rather than its long-term benefits. Rather than levelling up, it's an insult to local leaders and residents when their preferences were abundantly clear. For both HS2 Phase 2B and the MPR network to be delivered in full, investment in the East Coast Mainline corridor between North Allerton and Newcastle, including reopening the Leamside line to free up capacity, divert freight and build resilience. Even the final plans from Transport for the North for the NPR presented to the government included the restoration of this line to achieve full and complete connectivity across the north. But yet again, Mr. Hollowbone, their expert advice, the local voices, were ignored. The completion of these schemes in full would have sparked a rail revolution. But once again, it's northern communities that are paying the price for broken Tory promises on rail. So I hope the Minister today has better news for the good people of the North East. And what is more frustrating, Mr. Hollowbone, is that I know the government recognise themselves the benefits of this line and the need for this project to move forward. In fact, in the unsuccessful Restoring Your Railways bid, the Rail Minister even noted that it, and I quote, shows good potential in terms of transport and socio-economic benefits, but the government has now indicated that, and I quote, the case for reopening the Leamside route would be best developed as part of any future city-region settlement, thereby sadly once again kicking the can further down the road, which also seems somehow to be dependent on the North of Tyne and North East authorities forming one mayoral combined authority. So I hope the Minister can provide some further clarity on this particular point. There are already plans from Transport for the North East to produce studies to further prove the benefits, which Chair of the North East Joint Transport and Leader of Gateshead Council, Martin Gannon, outlined, with him outlining that Leamside is one of our top priorities with the potential to be game-changing. This would be true levelling up. Investing in local transport, supported cross-party, purely driven by the benefit the region will inevitably see. But, Mr. Hollowbone, for too long, the North East has been chronically overlooked, as was highlighted by my honourable friend, the member for City of Durham, when she highlighted that the North East has so many left-behind communities who are suffering from a lack of investment, including transport spending. Investing in local transport is incredibly important because I hope that the Minister actually realises that today she can offer more than just warm words in support of this project, but actual steps to ensure that very soon it can be achieved alongside the local authorities. And I want to also highlight within the short span of time, Mr. Hollowbone, some of the excellent speeches from across the chamber. Indeed, the honourable member from Darlington highlighted the importance of regional connectivity, linking people with jobs in different towns and cities. And the honourable member for Sedgefield talked of levelling up, given the prevalence of areas of social deprivation. And the honourable member for North West Durham talked about the need to improve broader connections and connectivity across his county. And I also want to highlight the excellent speech from my honourable friend, the member for Jarrow, as to how the government has failed to deliver rail infrastructure investment in the North East. There have been lots and lots of empty and false promises, but now is indeed the time to show ambition. Indeed, the Labour Party, Mr. Hollowbone, will stand up for our communities and demand that the government delivers the northern rail investment that has been so often promised. Continuing to shortchange the north for short-term savings is not going to cut it anymore. So I welcome the Minister to hopefully address the concerns brought forward today from members across the House so that we can move forward with what is clearly a well-supported and much-needed rail line. Thank you very much.